our initial call for application is Monday, March 31st. Application deadline is Friday, May 16th, $10,000 per selected project. And our grant period time is Monday, August 5th through Friday, May 29th. And our mission statement is Metro's Digitization Project Grant is designed to meet the needs of Metro members working on projects at various stages of the digitization lifecycle. Our aim is to create community capacity for digital collections while supporting our member institutions. By doing this, we endeavor to enable sustainable digital space making, cultural heritage, resource exchange, access to collections, material from a spectrum of diverse viewpoints, and research support for individuals seeking information and resources related to Metropolitan New York's history and unique community. Again, all this information that we're going over is on our website, and especially I would ask that you look at our program guide. I feel like this is the most comprehensive in terms of everything that you need to know for the grant. I put it in the chat earlier. I'll make sure to put it in the chat again after, and we'll have a slide that is just all the important links. So you'll have, and it's also on the front page of our website. It's in one of the first paragraphs of like, find the program guide here. So this document is very comprehensive in terms of information, so please use it. Okay, next slide. So our program description, the primary purpose of this grant program is to support digitization projects for Metro members in order to enhance the quality and accessibility of library and information resources in the Metropolitan New York region. This program will enable Metro members to provide free and open access to materials in their collections that have not yet been digitized or are not currently publicly available. Metro members will also build institutional capacity, resulting in members being better positioned for future larger scale digitization projects. Okay, next slide. So the program description continued. As we mentioned, each institution is eligible to receive funding for up to $10,000 for their project. The following should be considered when selecting collections. We seek to provide support for useful and accurate content, rare and unique items, materials that have a potential for enduring value in digital form, materials that are beneficial to New York residents and community members. And the following should be considered when selecting materials. We seek to fund digitization materials that highlight collections, best represent the community, are most requested by patrons, are difficult to access in physical form, and are cataloged or collections that are processed. So it doesn't have to be all of those things. It's often usually one. And I think you can really explain in your application which one you're selecting or what the reason is and why. Really recommend to get into that in your application. Okay, next slide. So who can apply? So this is a grant for Metro members. We have a membership list on our website as well. If you're unsure, you can always email us and we can double check for you. But we have the Google form to submit applications. And we also have a PDF copy on the website under like apply that has every single question verbatim. So what I'd recommend is you take that PDF copy and you fill out your application there. And then when you're ready to submit, you just copy and paste your answers in. I'm just gonna, because we're on the slide, put the application form in the chat one more time. Okay, so next slide. So all materials and formats, including text, images, maps, newspaper, audio, and video are eligible. We've had all these formats in previous awards. And along with the application form, each applicant must include a timeline and budget outlining where and how the funds will be utilized. Again, on our program guide, we have a sample budget and timeline that you can use. You can literally just like make a copy of that and use that as a template. Or if your institution has one that you already use, feel free. We have no rules about what it should necessarily look like, as long as it's thorough and explains the timeline needs to explain month by month what the process is, what you'll be working on, who will be working on it, and why. And the budget we obviously would love a line items of what you'll be spending on, whether that's labor, whether that's obviously digitization services, whether that's hardware, whatever you need, just line by line explaining what those things are. So those things could include hardware, software, staffing, training, web design, promotion, personal protective equipment, if that still applies. We like to keep that in still, and services. So direct compensation and or fringe benefits for permanent employees are not eligible expenses, but you can, and certainly every year, usually a lot of applicants will hire have a consultant or a student or someone who is working directly on the project, and that can definitely count as like labor or staffing.
Okay. The next facet that we always bring up for the digitization grant is we strongly encourage recipients to contribute copies of their digital collections to our DCMNY site, Digital Culture of Metropolitan New York, once the grant period is over. DCMNY provides free online access to digital collections of libraries, archives, museums, and historical societies located in and around New York City. We have participating institutions in all of the major New York category, New York State counties, and even some from outside New York State. And throughout the process, we provide applicants with more information about participating in DCMNY, including our contribution and metadata and digitization guidelines. I'm just going to quickly pop over to DCMNY in case you haven't seen it. This is our shared repository space. We swap out the featured collections. You can browse through contributors and the collections and objects here. And you can find more information at the contribution guidelines, which are here. And there's 2 primary documents in here now, and then contact information for us there if you have any questions. And please also ask Tracy and I in the grant process about that. The next area we wanted to talk about today are the reporting requirements for the grant. So this is a reimbursement-based grant. So that means that the institutions with the awards will pay for the whatever is covered, they have in their budget for this project, this grant, and then Metro will reimburse the selected institutions for all the expenses incurred as documented in the budget in 2 different phases. Phase 1 takes place from August 4th, 2025 to January 16th, 2026, when your project starts those expenses. And then phase 2 is January 16th, 2026 through May 29th, 2026. The different reporting requirements, both phase 1 and phase 2 have a list of very similar things that you need to prepare, including a written narrative of the work done on your project, an updated budget that details the expenses incurred between the different reporting requirements phases, receipts for all expenses incurred during the course of work on the grant, invoices from contractors, vendors, or others involved in performing the work related to the grant, a comprehensive invoice detailing all the expenses occurred. And to begin with, we need a W-9 from the invoicing institution, which can be reused for the second reporting requirement. That's just for the reporting purposes. And that can be split up. Your expenses can be split up across the 2 phases. Sometimes people request reimbursement all in the first phase, and then sometimes people do it all in the second, or some people mix it up. There's no rules about when you have to request, like what portions. The next one, this is the overall timeline of the entire grant process. We just wanted to call out some dates for you all to keep in mind. As Tracy said earlier, we had our call for applications kick off on March 31st, and the applications are due coming up not too far away on May 16th. By Friday, July 11th, all grant applicants will be notified of their status. And then on Monday, August 4th, the grant period begins, and you will have, if your institution was selected, you will have been notified ahead of time. In September 2025, we're going to have our first cohort meeting and progress update check-in with everybody who's selected. And then we'll have a second one in December 2025. The dates for those will be determined by the group once those are set up. Next up is Friday, January 16th, 2026. That's when the first in-person reimbursement period kicks off, and your progress report and all the invoices, all those documents are due to Metro. April 2026 is the third and final cohort meeting that we'd have with the group. And then Friday, May 29th, 2026 is when the program ends and the second final reimbursement packages need to be sent to us.
This is our advisory council, so they will help us make selections for the grant. This is also available on our website. And we're just going to leave this page to important links. So a question just came in, and also this is about the time that we're going to open up. I'm just going to leave this up for a few minutes. Someone asked, just to be clear, are we able to use the grant to cover part of a current employee's pay? And also, can we use it to purchase digitization equipment that may be used for future projects? If they're a permanent employee that's paid like consistently from your institution, then no. But if they are a contract or a student or someone who's brought and hired in for this project specifically, then yes. And can we use it to purchase digitization equipment? Yes. And I would just recommend in your application to explain that, like what will it be used for? What exactly is the equipment, et cetera, et cetera. Okay. So I'm going to pop again in the chat. I'm going to put in the program guide, which again has all of this information. I think it is like the most comprehensive document. Our Metro website, which also has most of this information as well, and our application form. And then, and then you'll find a PDF copy of our application form on the program guide and on the website. You should also find sample budgets and timelines on the website and program guide. We've tried to like put everything multiple times. So yes. Okay, so questions. Yeah, this is a time to ask questions. Is it possible to be awarded less than our application's requested amount, or are these applications awarded all or nothing? No, it's up to $10,000. So some applications in the past have applied for $3,000, or it's up to. That's just the maximum. So anything in between is fine, is great. How many grants are awarded? That varies. It has varied from 3 to 7. Yeah. Do we have any other questions? You can also unmute yourself if you want, or just in the chat is fine, whatever you're most comfortable with. Maybe we should talk also, Allison, about in the past, we've asked for institutions to have public access to all of their materials once digitized.
Yes.
This year, we're not necessarily asking for that. Obviously, if that is part of your application and your intent, that's perfect. But we also recognize the time that we're in and the administration that we're in, and if we want institutions to do what feels best. So if this is like more of an internal thing, then that's fine.
Yes, thank you for saying that, Tracy. That's a great question. We had a few more come in also. First up, are there any recommended vendors that the grant would prefer or require us to use, or can we use your own vendors? We do not specifically endorse or necessarily provide any information about vendors. Please use whatever vendors you find are familiar with. We do have like an older list of digitization vendors, but we have not actively maintained or kept up with that information over time. So there could be information there that's not relevant. So please use your own vendors. There are no required vendors that you have to use.
I'm just going to try to go through each question individually. So if you've received a Metro grant in the past, does that affect your chances? Not at all. We've definitely awarded people in the past, and it doesn't matter. We got that. We've gotten that question before, and we still please apply. It doesn't affect our selection at all. What percentage of applicants accepted? Um, I think it's hard to give a percent because every year is different in the amount of institutions that apply. Some years we've gotten a lot, and then some years we haven't gotten as much. I assume that this year will be a lot. A lot of institutions will apply. It seems like that by the amount of interest. So, but it's still difficult to say the percentage. Just to confirm, collections must be related to local New York history. Can you speak more about the criteria? It doesn't necessarily have to be local New York history per se. Certainly, we've gotten like local newspaper collections. It has to benefit the or something that's related to that will benefit New York residents. Uh, I think that can be the criteria is meant to be sort of broad, but that can be a local history collection. It can also be um, like we've gotten audio collections that have just been heavily requested in like a New York City community college. I think it's sort of up to you to explain how this, I think we're really interested in how it affects your immediate community, whether that's a school, whether that's a city or a town, and to make that clear in your application. But sorry, Allison, what were you going to say?
Oh no, I was just going to say the very you said everything that needed to be said. I just put the mission statement up because by the definition that we put out for the different programs, um, and the fact that the institutions have to be Metro members, there is a very strong New York basis, like focus to a lot of these collections, but they're not all just like the history of the state. There are a lot of collections related to the history or the movement of organizations, New York organizations or communities, you know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
or the diaspora of New York City, like the
Yeah.
community of New York City,
Hmm.
whether that has many different kinds of communities.
Yeah.
So I would also recommend, I think it's helpful in this case, on our website, on the digitals page, there's a past recipient page. If you want to look through some of those, I think it gives you a wide array and you'll understand that it's not just like an immediate New York history thing, although it can be, but it's also just the communities that encompass all of New York City. And also directly, what is the community that you are digitizing for? Okay, so if our library requests, for example, $4,000, is it possible for Metro to award less than that amount, or will it be either the $4,000 or nothing? It'll be the $4,000 or nothing. It'll be your full amount. We don't come back to you and say, oh, we could do this amount. We really will give you the full amount if you are awarded the grant up to $10,000. Is it possible to apply for a collection that already has grant funding, i.e. paying for an additional staff member for a grant project? Yeah, I don't see why not. Yeah, in the past, we've gotten grants submissions that a piece of it has been digitized, but they need another piece. And so just making that clear in your application is great. Okay. Do we have, this has been really quick, but please let us know if you have any questions in the chat is great, or if you want to unmute yourself and speak, that's fine, whatever you feel comfortable with. And hopefully we've been thorough. If there's anything that you're unclear about, Allison and I, our emails, I'm going to put my email in the chat. It's all over the website as well, but just in case. And Allison can put in hers as well, and you can just ask us. And we're happy to have, quick meetings or anything to clarify. But I think one thing that I just want to review again is the reimbursement period. It's in two chunks. It's one in January and then the final in May. And as Allison said, usually that's split up between the two grant periods because it's like maybe digitization is done during a certain time. Usually just the flow of the grant is over over the 10-month period, but sometimes people will ask for they'll finish the digitization part quickly and they'll ask for the full amount in January, and that's fine. Or they'll ask for the full amount. They'll say, oh, we're not finished, we're not in that phase yet, and they'll ask for the full amount in May. We're just looking at making it, there's no rules over how that happens. Is it okay to use a current staff member for the labor not included in the budget and have the budget just be for equipment software? Yes, as long as it's not included in the budget of like the labor, but yes, the budget inside the software and equipment can definitely be in the budget. Okay. Do we have any other questions? Hopefully the reimbursement part is clear. And also, that is something that we review several times during the process. So you will be clear on what you have to submit. Is there a required cost share? No, in the past, Allison, I'm trying to think of in the past.
Different institutions have different rates for cost sharing that they're required. And we ask you to incorporate those into the budget. Like you let us know what that is
Yeah.
based on, but we don't like top up the grant because you have a cost share. Do you know what I mean? Like it has to be factored into the budget. That's the way
Yeah.
we approach it.
Also, I would say email us about that questions. That's a
Yes,
good
yeah.
question to have a conversation about.
Mhm.
If you have like a number in mind
Mhm.
or yeah,
Yeah, we're thinking of like
or a percentage in mind.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I see a hand.
Hi there, can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Great. I just had a quick clarification question. I know earlier you mentioned regarding public access that digitized materials wouldn't necessarily need to be publicly available like immediately. My institution is interested in digitizing interviews, and so we are thinking that we'll have a permissions process, for getting in touch with the interviewees and getting their consent to digitize these materials. And we expect that there will probably be a small number of people who will prefer a restricted form of access, such as, access only in the reading room, for example. Would we still be eligible if, any portion of the materials like are not publicly available just on the web, but are in a more mediated access?
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah. We've also had that in the past with institutions. So yes, definitely. And I would recommend in your application to talk a little bit about that interview process as well. Certainly, we've had things like oral histories or things that sound similar. So talking about that process, but also, I guess, letting us know the types of permissions. But in general, that's fine. We've definitely had awards granted with limited access or a certain kind of access.
Okay, great. Thank you.
No problem. Okay, hopefully we've been thorough. And again, if there's anything else, feel free to email us with your questions. We're happy to chat or have a meeting if it's a really in-depth question. But yes, I thank you for coming, and I hope you all apply. And and I just want to say again, the program guide is the most comprehensive document. Please use it, and it should have everything that we reviewed in that document. And then there's also the website and of course the application form. What else? There's budgets and timeline examples on the website and the program guide. And again, please use the PDF copy as it has verbatim every question that's on the application form. So you can use that first and then copy and paste your answers when you're ready to submit. And it again due May 16th, Friday by midnight. And yes, and everyone will be notified of their status by July 11th, I believe was the date we gave. But again, the timeline is also on the website and program guide. So okay, with that, thank you so much. Thanks for coming. Hopefully we answered all your questions, but again, just feel free to get in touch. And I hope you all have a great day. And thanks.